Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Digital Experiences Star Iteration Retro. Today is Thursday, August 24th. We'll go over some of the things that went well and some things to improve on. First, for things that went well is Barker.
Yeah, huge shout out to Megan. She did some amazing investigation, collaboration with the team on that. It grew to like, what can we do to do some re-architecting of our project to improve performance and also get the CMS implemented for our nav. So just great job. And she spun up all the issues that we'll be working on to implement that. Pass it to Javi to vocalize his point.
I just I don't need to vocalize, but I mean, yeah, it's a that whole body of work came in very chaotic, and so I think you did a great job in like kind of giving us a path forward and making me at least feel like we're like all going in the same direction. I think that's always nice to feel that we're all like aligned on that. And some other comments if folks want to vocalize.
Yeah, also thank you, Megan, for leading in the contentful sessions. It feels like you've asking the right questions. So thank you for that.
I'll follow up again. Hands up to Megan for figuring out the MVC way we can move forward. Contentful for managing our content while keeping our internationalized content intact. Just really good iterative approach. Two-way door decisions, which is awesome. And I have another one for John. He got the live previews working for blog posts. It was huge. So good job there. Pass it over to Nathan.
Yeah, I know those contentful meetings were a lot of time, but honestly, they were good. And I'm glad that we front loaded them. So we did what, 4 or 5 this week? It's like 10 hours of, I don't even know, between prep time and all that kind of stuff. But no, I'm glad we did it. And I think we're ready to go for next iteration. Oh, and now it's me again. Yeah, for things to improve on, just a minor thing. I was just like trying to plan out some of the CMS like engineering work, and there's just a lot. We have a lot of stuff. Like I'm trying to look at the epics and see like what's going on, what are we currently working on. I just found like we had over 160 epics, like 300 plus issues, and there's over 50 MRs open. It's just like starting to get a little unwieldy, and I don't want it to turn into like what we had over in I don't know what our team name was back then. We weren't growth. We were anyway. There was like over 1,000 issues open. So just like a mental note, like maybe, I don't know, every couple months, let's go back and close out some old epics and stuff like that. And then I guess I have the other one. This one's going to be controversial, but yeah, as we plan out roadmaps, because I'm a little nervous, like we're given an opportunity, we're given a quarter to get the CMS up and running. And I really want to make sure that we do it properly. Because who knows, in the next quarter, are we going to have time, or the next quarter, are we going to have time to, continue the implementation things that we missed? And so I've just been looking at like our burn down charts. I know we don't really use them for anything, but we're completing like 40% of our boards, which, we can take it as it is. Like it could just be issues that we don't even get to. But I'm just nervous that if we're trying to follow a roadmap and we're completing 40% of our issues, or at least that we've taken, like how are we going to gauge where we're at on that roadmap? And so I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm not saying like we're not doing enough work. I'm saying, why don't we take way less work and then almost pull stuff in just so we can say like, this is for sure getting done in these 2 weeks, so that when we're planning, we can say like, okay, this next iteration, we know for sure that we're going to complete 90% of this. That's just where I'm at. Like the waypoints, all that stuff, I don't really care about. I just want to be able to look at, an iteration and say, we're going to complete all of this so that we're ready for the next iteration. Lauren, you have next comment.
Yeah, what value are those burn down charts going to have for the team? Is that something we want to do? And what value are looking for to get out of them?
Yeah, if we can represent them in a different way, it's just like how do we know right now where we're at on that roadmap? Like if we're looking at those issues, do we know? It's just hard.
I'll follow up with like the three is I thought that our fiscal year 24 Q3, like that's the roadmap that we're working towards.
And we can gauge progress by filtering issues to know where we're at. Like, I guess, how do we know where we're at in that roadmap? Like, we want to implement CMS for the next couple of weeks, then we want to, blog and all that kind of stuff. Where do we know where we're at on that like journey? I guess I'm worried that we're gonna have stuff that gets left over, because then I don't know if we're gonna have time in future iterations to go through it again, or future quarters to go and correct it. I could be wrong. Like there could be another way to visualize this. I just want to make sure that we get everything done, because I'm worried that we might have a slippers thing from the past where we didn't manage to get it done in a quarter, and then it took us, maybe another year before we got around to revamping and fixing the things that we didn't have time to do. But yes, I don't know who's next on the comment list. Megan, I think, or Laura.
Yeah. I'll just vocalize my point, but a lot of our work, ever since I've joined the PM team, I see the struggles of just kind of a lot of the back and forth, events team in particular. There's a lot of stuff they just want to get right. I think Phil's kind of made a joke, but is right that they should be the first ones on the CMS, so that they can make these changes themselves. But they like to reopen issues that were already closed in a previous iteration, and the process isn't really great for our burn down charts. Like I know that you are lucky that you get to kind of decide you're doing icons and then you keep your head down and you do your icons. But I'm constantly fighting with the content team or asking for illustrations or whatever. It's just, and the deadlines or due dates tend to be not lined up with our sprint. Like I have an issue that I received yesterday that's due on Tuesday, right? And so it kind of crosses over to sprint, and it's just going to stay open until it's, Tuesday. So I don't know, like it's not a perfect, like the burn down charts or the completion percentage is not like a perfect visualization of our team, Yeah.
Yeah, then how can we say like where are we on this roadmap? Because we have that thing, it's like the dates and the times. Like I just want to make sure that we don't fall behind, I guess. And how do we, like if, I don't know, Michael or someone else wants to look down and be like, hey, what's going on with this project? Where are we at? How can they tell where we're at? And even for ourselves, like I would like to know, oh, look, we're behind, we're ahead.
And that, sorry. I thought that's why we did this collaborative Dex iteration release and stuff. So we all know where we're at. And it's not perfect because you do have to watch a video or be present for a video to do it. But I mean, that's where you would get the newest update, is exactly from the engineer as they worked on it towards the end of the iteration.
In my manager elevated course this morning, I did we do check in with the team halfway through the quarter to get a status update on what the OKRs are and progress. And if you have any concerns, like you don't have to wait until the mid-quarter check-in, like please voice them, like either transparently in our Slack channel or directly to your leader. I would recommend doing that.
I would I haven't seen the release video for the engineers, but like in previous experiences when I've done this, I do agree with what Nathan is saying, like your concern, but I don't know that the sprint, like to Laura's point, like there's a lot of work that the team is doing outside of this, even though that we know this is our key focus. I wonder if an option would be like during those release meetings, Justin or Lauren pull up the spreadsheet and then like line by line where you are, like maybe just do a red, yellow, green of the items that are supposed to be in progress. And then maybe that's like a summary that we can provide Michael of just like here's where we expect it to be in terms of like the content migration or page migration or whatever it is. And it's on track, not on track, whatever, just so it's like a high level and we're not like so nitpicky on like where we need to be. I find at least that level of visibility would be important.
No, that's perfect.
Nathan, does that help?
Yeah, I like that. I want to be able to go in and just see where we're at and if we're on track or not on track. And so I just find it right now it's really hard. Like I said, I was going through all the epics. There's so many, there's just so much stuff everywhere. Like I just want to see what's going on and where we're at. I know we all kind of know because we're in it every single day, but the quarters come quick. And then kind of going back on like the whole burn down thing. I mean, if this is kind of like a huge if we're not really tracking anything, then what's the point of iterations? Like I know we take work for 2-week chunks, but if we're saying that 2-week chunks isn't an accurate representation of time, then why bother with time? Why not just have assigned issues to people instead of worrying about, keeping these boards and all this? Because isn't an iteration like the whole purpose of it is to say what you did in the iteration and to show work. But if it's an ongoing like fluid thing and we're not working in 2-week chunks, then could it just be this is what we've done in the last 2 weeks? I'm not trying to like spin everything up on its head, but I just want to maybe find some optimizations.
Or maybe we make our iterations longer. I don't know if that's an option, but I mean, to your point, if we're not able to finish our work in 2-week chunks, and that's something that's happening repeatedly, then maybe we just need more than 2 weeks.
Or just don't even use time. Like
Yeah. So Nathan, is this something you kind of noticed like in previous weeks as well, or just is this kind of like the
Yeah, so we're doing really well when we focus on it. Like what was that, a couple months ago, 6 months ago, and then we just kind of fell off, and it's been like a downward trend. And so I guess my thinking is if we're still doing iterations, then what's the point of not tracking metrics? Which I'm open to anything. It just I don't know. It feels like we're doing this iteration thing over and over again, and we're not always completing it. But that's because, like you said, things pop up. We have things that pop up on Friday that are due Tuesday, and it's like these are multi-iteration issues. Where I'd be curious to say, remove the iteration and just say you're assigned to it. Like you're assigned to the work that you're currently working on. And then all we have to do is just, instead of filtering by iteration, just filter by person and say, this is all the work that this person is working on.
I think bringing this up, sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No.
I think bringing this to light, Nathan, is important because now we're all very cognizant of it. And maybe this is something we solve at the planning level. I don't necessarily agree to get rid of a 2-week iteration. Like I really like these chunks of time, and it's like I commit to get this done in 2 weeks versus like if you just assign it to someone, I fear, I don't know, there's procrastination and like someone might not know what's more of a priority than something else, right? I think priority is a big thing. I know like due dates, like they push me and they put the fire under my butt to get it done now. I think if we're all cognizant, like, okay, are we on track? Are we not? I think for this iteration, like there was a lot of spike work and there's like a ton of issues we had in the backlog. And then like we had our planning meeting and like they were still in our backlog, right? Like we didn't assign any leftovers to anyone. We're all kind of just maybe assuming, hey, someone's going to grab this. But I think we should take these planning meetings and be like, all right, well, we still have 4 or 5 issues in our backlog. Can someone commit to taking those right now? And if it sounds like we can't, then maybe that's a sign we had too much in our backlog. Like we should solve this at the beginning of the iteration and not like 2 days before our release sync. We're like, oh man, we had like 10 left, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And going back to that like 2-week, like it is nice having like a soft deadline. Like there's almost a sense of urgency. It's like I want to get this done. And there's a part of me that thinks that, but then there's a part of me that looks at our board and we're at 40%. So I'm like, is that actually working? Like, are we seeing that 2 weeks and being like, we have to get stuff done by the end of these 2 weeks? Anyway, I was just trying to raise a discussion. Like I'm not expecting anything to change or, make decisions right now, but just as we go forward and we start to have tighter timeframes maybe to do things, I just want to make sure we're on track and I want to make sure we're getting done what we need to get done. And it, like I said, my biggest suggestion is just like take less because things are going to pop up in an iteration. Just take less, and then when you have space, grab more. So I'd rather like undercommit and overdeliver than overcommit and underdeliver.
I think you also just need to be cautious of that. Like you said, we really want to focus everything in this quarter. So like I think Megan, to your point, maybe instead of iterations, an alternative is also like what are the milestones? And then within each issue, just like assign it a due date. And then if we're consistently missing those due dates, then it's like, okay, like there's an issue. What is that issue? And to Laura's point, like, yeah, if it's events, then like that is something that like, please bring that up to Justin, Lauren, and I, and like, what else can we do from an organizational point of view to help support and make space for this work? Because we know the CMS is going to unlock the events team to work much quicker. So like, we'd rather focus on getting this right and making everything work here. If that means like there's some little tweaks on an events page that we're going to miss.
Yeah, I guess there's like two different types of work that our team does, right? Like CMS work, we are choosing our sprint, like we're committing to work. Like I think that stuff, Nathan is right that like, you know, we should keep our 2-week increments. It's a really nice cadence for our team. We should be giving status updates. That work should be 80% complete. Like we should be aiming for like good looking burn down charts on the work that we control. But the pieces that are like out of our control a little bit, that rely on other teams, maybe if there's a way to exclude that work from our traditional 2-week burn down chart stats, I don't know. I don't know how boards work, but like if those can just not count, and if I get a ton of events work this sprint, I'm going to take less CMS work, like I'm going to adjust my sprint accordingly. Like Nathan was saying, take on less work or whatever. But yeah, if we want to just use our metrics, the burn down chart metrics, and the whatever completion rate, but it only refers to the work that we have like set for ourselves and committed to instead of the other team work. I don't know if there's a way to discern between the two in boards and charts. But yeah. No. Megan, I don't like it.
I think this is something that we will maybe look back at. Hopefully, like this is the goal. Look back at after the CMS is implemented and it's all everyone's using it. It might be less like knock on wood, and hopefully like whatever the events team, but not calling Laura every single day, or Mateo, or Miguel. It should be something that they can support themselves and we can focus on bigger things. But I think to Nathan's point is that when we look at our burn, like almost it's like a large project burn down, because we know that we can spin up a page relatively quick. If we have everything we need, we can spin it up. When we talk about like the CMS or refactoring slippers or even migrating customer case studies over to Bio Experience, like we could visually see the work that needed to get done, and we need to make sure that we like as a team like work towards this completion point. And customer case study was also like a bad example because it was a very loose deadline. We were just saying, oh, get it done when you can get it done. CMS, we have a hard deadline, so we'd rather not have. We want to make sure we can visualize the progress. We don't want to come to October 20th and we're like, cool, we have 3 pages of the CMS or of Bio Experience completely done. 2,000 to do, including the blog. Well, this is going to be a long 2 weeks. That's not what we want. So we make sure we can like show that progress on like big work we're working towards.
That was a little more elegant. Thank you.
My best friend Miguel is typing very quickly. You want to vocalize?
I think that the burn down charts are nice to look at, but not like really commit because of all the issues and stuff. But I've done it in the past that, for example, by the end of week 1 of the iteration, I would like to have like some percentage of my work already done. and burn down charts are good for that. So yeah, I haven't done it like in GitLab, and I don't know if it's by team or by developer or both, but in the case for like individual developer, I think it could be useful in my case. So yeah, just wanted to vocalize that.
If I do that, can I like set all my issues to like complete, be like 100%, and then like, you know, reopen them again? Just a little confidence booster. Anyway.
I think it can work.
Okay, good. Yeah. Cool. Any last thoughts? I guess we have some more clarity on that process, and I guess when we do our sprint planning meetings, we can talk about it more too. Yeah. I'll stop the recording. We're all good. Okay. Okay. See you next time.